One thing for sure, which Newcastle United are going to address in the window, is the defence. That is without a shadow of a doubt. And a lot of reports has come out in the past few days on the main targets Newcastle United have for the centre-back position. I'm going to give you some sort of data and sort of talk about these players because I did a bit of research and Newcastle have got the right sort of profiles in terms of players they want to get in next season. But before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe and like as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. So yeah, we've just got to start looking at Newcastle's current centre-half group. We've got Botman 25, Cher 33, Burn 33, Lascelles 31. And with all due respect, phenomenal players in there. Botman, Shah and Burn. Lascelles has been a great servant to Newcastle United as well. But their ages is a massive concern. For a club that wants to be sustainable, wants to have long-term success, they need to start getting players in who can deputise for the likes of Cher and Burn and rotate and potentially take their spot. Botman was the right player as in terms of, he's left-footed and can do that for Burn. But they need someone for Cher, to share the load as well. No pun intended there. But let us start with the minutes that these guys have played. I mean, Fabian Cher is an absolute beast. He's played 41 games in the 22-23 season. Season after that, 47. Season after that, 41. And look at those minutes, nearly playing 4,000 minutes per season. That, for a defender, is a lot of minutes. And it just goes to show he's having to play Carabao, FA Cup games. When they were in Europe, he was playing all the European games as well. They need someone to share that load. They literally do. And it goes for the same with Dan Burn. I'm sure Newcastle fans agree with me. 45 games played this season, 43 the season before, and 44 the season before that. And look at that, nearly 4K minutes played as well in every single season. You want to be able to rest these guys, and have them play certain games and have players be able to rotate. I think that's without a shadow of a doubt. And it goes to show Newcastle know what they need. And the first player is Jorrel Hato. And I mean, Arsenal have been linked with this guy. We've wanted Jorrel Hato for a very, very, very long time. We went with Calafiori instead. But, MSI Douglas, a source, he's very, very good for Newcastle News. Apparently, I asked some Newcastle people. Says Newcastle are interested in Jorrel Hato, and that is one to watch this summer. And for those of you not familiar with Jorrel Hato, 19 years of age, plays for Ajax, left-footed centre-half, can play left-back as well. He's already getting into the Dutch national team. Very, very good young player, strong, tenacious, good on the ball. And look, the minutes he's playing, this is a positive sign. I feel like Newcastle wouldn't want a player now who hasn't had the experience of playing many minutes per season. At 19, he's played 44 games this season. Season before that, he played 44. And then the season before that, 28. The school of Ajax, great technical abilities, but also a very strong, robust defender as well. And if we look more in depth at his stats, for progressive passes, he's really, really good. Just look at the left graphic, the successful progressive passes. It's what you want to be seeing. Newcastle want to be able to beat those mid blocks, those sort of teams that like to sit into their shapes. Jorrel Hato will help do that from the centre half position. He wants to ping the ball as well to the other side. He can do that as well. He has a lovely range of passes. And think about it, Fabian Cher can spread a ball really, really well. Jorrel Hato can do that as well. Botman, a fantastic defender, can play on the board as well. Jorrel Hato would also provide that. So a really, really good player. And also carrying the ball, dribbling with the ball, Jorrel Hato is very good, as these graphics suggest. Fabian Cher, Newcastle's defender, is probably the best player that they've got that is good from driving from the centre-half position into the final third. It's a really, really good thing to have. His ball carrying is fantastic, Cher, and Jorrel Hato shares those qualities. So when you look at the link, like for Cher, he's not as big as Cher or as tall as Cher. I think he's 6 foot. You can see why Newcastle want a profile like Jorrel Hato, and he's a fantastic, fantastic young player for sure. The next one is Newcastle United have already made contact with AC Milan with potential summer move for German international centre-back Malick Thiaw. So it seems as though they've got a radar of option. Malick Thiaw has already been sort of linked with Newcastle. This is from Graham Bailey, another really strong Newcastle source. And Malick, again, is another top centre-half. I really like the way he plays the game. 23 years old, right-footed sort of player as well. AC Milan, Ajax. And again, when you look at the minutes he's played, he's not played as much as he would have liked this season for AC Milan. 31 games season before that, 30, 27, 32. The minutes aren't a lot, but This is a player who's available quite a lot. He's rarely injured. Same with Jorrel, Hato, and that's only positive signs for Newcastle United. And if we look at this, I mean, this graphic just shows how good Malick Thiaw is. You know, he's fantastic in the duels, fantastic aerially. You know, he's not the best in terms of progressive passes like a Jorrel, Hato, like Botman, like Shah, but he does his fair share of really good stuff on the ball. You know, pass completion 93% this season compared to other centre halves in the top 5 leagues, by the way. So this makes it more impressive. You know, he's also, you know, comfortable on the ball, progressive carries, he can do that. He is a nice little profile for Newcastle United. That's without a shadow of a doubt. And I really, really do like this link for them. Physically strong guy. And you know, it's this situation now where these players will want to come to Newcastle for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, not too long ago, Malick Thiaw was linked to go to Tottenham when Tottenham were in the Champions League. That's how highly he's sort of rated. You know, Champions League clubs have targeted for him for a very long time. Juventus at the time wanted him from AC Milan. So this is a good young defender, you know, 22, 23, I said he was. So there's room for them to improve under Eddie Howe and still rotate with the Burns and the Botmans. But let me know down below, of course, as I go through this video, who would your favoured centre-half be, Newcastle fans, from the ones that I'm going to talk about? We've got 2 more to go through, and it's Marc Guehi and Ilya Zabarnyi. Both remain high on Newcastle's shortlist. So you've got Jorrel, Hato, you've got Malick Thiaw, you've got Marc Guehi, and you've got Ilya Zabarnyi. And firstly, we've got to look at Marc Guehi. He's an absolute monster. For me, the best option Newcastle have. I'd probably have Marc Guehi. You know, he can play on his left foot, right foot, can play in a 3, can play in a 4, you can play right back if you need him to do that. He's so versatile, and he's just a top player. English international, 25, perfect age, 60 million or under that as well. I think it'll be just under that. Perfect. If Newcastle get this guy, wow. All I'm going to say is wow. You're looking at this as well. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, he's up there for tackles and interceptions and blocks and clearances. Aerial duels won as well compared to other centre-halves. Progressive passes, fantastic on the ball. Good dribbling as well. He can drive the ball. You know, he doesn't concede many in sort of comparison to other centre-halves. This guy's a leader as well at his age. Marc Guehi, Newcastle fans, I'm sure you will agree, is probably the one you want the most. He's perfect. He's literally perfect. Left centre half, right centre half. He can play there to a top level. It will be a statement signing. But let's get on to Ilya Zabarnyi. You know, all the talk has been about Dean Huijsen this season, but Ilya Zabarnyi has gone about his business quite well. Like Marc Guehi, like the other players we looked at, they can play a lot of minutes. They're not injury prone. 38 games this season, 3.2k minutes. 42 the season before that, 3.7k minutes. Very, very good. And although the graphics here don't show how good he is, he's still a good player on the ball. He's still physical. He's still, you know, progressive. He made Dean Huijsen, you know, the confidence he has. He's also a leader. He's been the captain for Bournemouth before. And when you look at all of these things, I think he'll be slightly cheaper at the 35 to 40 million mark as well. Premier League experience, you know, young guy too. It makes sense. It really, really does make sense. He's a top centre-half as well. And you're looking now, here it is, right in front of you, the different defenders I've talked about, the age, the feet they are. You know, we're already looking at the left-footed department. Botman is good. You need someone now behind Shah, better quality than a Lascelles, or someone better than Shah. I mean, you can't really even say many players are better than Shah, but Guehi is phenomenal. He would definitely start week in, week out. Whether that's the left centre-half position, right centre-half position, he would start. Malick Thiaw, he'll probably be a rotational option and Cher would play most of the minutes. Same with Zabarnyi, Jorrel, Hato as well would slowly be embedded. But Newcastle fans, let me know, out of these 4, you probably want a more right-footed defender. Who would you pick? I'm sure it's Marc Guehi. So if it isn't Marc Guehi, pick out of the rest. It would be really, really interesting to see. And that's all of them compared. When you look at it from this point of view, who would you like to join the centre-half department at Newcastle?